All right, everyone. So let's talk about American politics, which really have become quite a circus, And you have a whole lot of people saying that this whole election has been unprecedented. I mean, you have a man who shows clear signs of Parkinson's disease or some sort of a neurological degenerative disease. And then you have a whole bunch of rich people who say, listen, old man, you're too neurologically sick for us. And really, you're quite an embarrassment. So get the hell out of here. And then they replace him with a woman who looks like she could be an inner city school vice principal. And then on top of all that, you have a candidate who almost got assassinated. So it has been quite crazy for us, quite crazy for all of us, boomers, millennials, zoomers. It doesn't really matter. It's been quite unprecedented for all of the living generations. And you have this woman named Kamala Harris who's running against Donald Trump. We all know this already. But the thing is that she's just really not that popular. And the thing about Kamala Harris is that she ran for presidential office before and she lost miserably. So how can we really expect Kamala to be, not we, but how can the Democrats really expect Kamala to be this extremely successful candidate when she couldn't even win the presidential office before? She actually had a miserable presidential campaign when she was running back in 2019 and 2020, when she was running for the 2020 election. So CNN knows this. That's the thing. CNN knows that Kamala Harris is not popular, and there was an article that was published by CNN today talking about this. The only thing that was really quite annoying about this article, and this is quite obnoxious, was that you have to get to the last part of the article to get the freaking meat to sink your teeth in. The article was about how Kamala Harris is facing a very difficult campaign against Donald Trump, how she's going to be facing a very difficult campaign against Donald Trump. So I'm reading this article and I'm thinking, okay, where the hell are the details about how this campaign is going to be difficult? The article is talking about how, well, she has just commenced her campaign in this crazy environment, this crazy situation, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, yeah, Donald Trump has made some very misogynistic statements about women in the past. And I'm just thinking to myself, get to the damn point already. And you get to the last part of the article, and this is what it says. This is what the article says. In racing to anoint Harris as the prohibitive potential nominee, Democrats are going all in on a candidate who is unpopular. And this is why Kamala Harris is going to have a difficult time. She is not that popular. And it says here, Democrats are going all in on a candidate who is unpopular, has not yet demonstrated she can do better than Biden in key swing states, and who sometimes showed a political tin ear during her 2020 primary campaign, which expired before the Iowa caucus. So Kamala Harris could not even get past the Iowa caucus. And so you have these Democrat or liberal-leaning media outlets saying, oh, yes, Kamala Harris, she actually has a chance. And you have these supposed experts, political analysts, whatever you want to call them, whatever they call themselves, professors, whatever, saying, oh, yes, we are so optimistic about Kamala Harris. We are so positive about Kamala Harris. You know, she actually can win this thing and blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. It's possible. It's possible that you'll have a situation where Democrats will feel very desperate and they're going to think and say to themselves, well, we really got to vote for Kamala. Even though we don't like her, we have to beat Donald Trump. And it looks like this is going to be the case, that you're going to have a lot of desperation in the souls of the Democrats, and it's really going to spur them to go out and vote. But still, it is also quite likely that what's going to happen is Democrats are not going to feel enough morale to actually go out and vote. This is what happened when Mitt Romney was running. when Mitt Romney ran against Obama, Democrats felt very energized because Obama, he was this great speaker. He had that swag when he was walking down the stairs of Air Force One. And so he really, with his MLK style speaking, he really, really energized the Democrats, and a lot of Democrats went out and voted. But Republicans did not feel enthusiastic about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney was very liberal in some ways when he was the governor of Massachusetts. Part of his policy was to allow for $50 abortions. Plus, he was a Mormon, and a lot of people just did not feel comfortable with voting for a Mormon. I understand that America is a secular country. I understand that you are not voting for religious leader in chief or pastor in chief, but at the same time, for a lot of people, religion is quite important. And so when they hear that a man who believes that he will be a god after he dies and that he will have 20 million babies, eternal heaven babies, to populate his own planet after he dies, a lot of people are very weirded out by that, including me, and they just don't feel enthusiastic enough. They don't feel animated enough to vote for this person. Because when people are voting for someone, they're not just voting for policy, they're also voting for a personality. That's why we call it a cult of personality. Obama definitely had a cult of personality. Trump definitely does have a cult of personality, especially after being shot in the ear. His cult of personality really, really radiated and really got animated by that, because at that point, for a lot of people, it became clear that the deep state is really after Donald Trump. I'm not saying that it's true, but this is what a lot of people think. The belief that the deep state is after Donald Trump, that they want to kill Donald Trump, became a reality for a lot of these people. And so they really saw the Trump campaign as not just a mere political campaign that will be a footnote in American history, and obviously that's not going to be the case, but as a war between good and evil. And so the cult of personality has really, really grown for Donald Trump. And Kamala Harris has to face all of that. She's going to have to face all this stuff. That's if she is the nominee, and it looks like she is going to be the nominee. And also this article from CNN goes on to say that Trump, after all, has usually led polling on issues that matter most to voters. And this is very true. And the article lists immigration, national security, and the economy as examples. And Donald Trump leads in the polls for these issues that are obviously very important for a lot of people. I mean, very important for really everyone. Everyone cares about the economy. Everyone cares about national security. And a lot of people really care about immigration. And you even have people in blue states, because Texas decided to troll the Democrat states by shifting a whole bunch of migrants into blue areas like Chicago. Now you have people living in blue states who are worried about immigration. And Kamala Harris she has really nothing to show for these issues. And Trump is a big tough on crime guy. He's very big on being tough on crime, which is good. Very good. I want America to be tough on crime. I hate this bullshit that a lot of people have gotten into, which is defund the police. Well, defund the police does not mean abolish the police. It simply means we're going to take away money from the police and then go pay a bunch of social workers. That's defunding the police. Yes, we know what defunding the police means. It means defunding the police, and it's nothing good. It's not good. It serves no purpose. It does nothing good. And there are areas in America which, if you had no police, would be reduced to a freaking war zone. So we need police officers, especially in these blue states where you have a ton of crime in big metropolitan zones. You need police. And so a lot of people are focusing on crime, and they should be. And so the Democrats are trying to frame the whole situation of Kamala versus Trump as Kamala Harris is this former prosecutor who was tough on crime, and Donald Trump is this felon who has been found guilty on multiple felony charges. I think it was 38 felony charges. So Donald Trump, he a thug. Donald Trump is a thug. He a thug. And Kamala Harris is this strong woman, strong-willed, independent, free-thinking woman who was a prosecutor in California. She was the San Francisco DA back in the early 2000s, and so she knows how to fight against thugs like Donald Trump. This is how the media is now framing the whole battle between Trump and Kamala. And I can totally see Donald Trump telling Kamala Harris, "Oh yeah, Kamala, you're really tough on crime. Why don't you tell the people about Isaac Espinosa? Go ahead. Tell us about Isaac Espinosa." Now, who was Isaac Espinosa? Isaac Espinosa was a police officer in the Bay Area who was murdered by a thug back in the year 2004. And Democrats at that time, including Dianne Feinstein, were calling for this murderer, this cop killer, to be executed by the state, to be given capital punishment, in other words. But Kamala Harris stood against it as the San Francisco DA. And she said, "Oh no, this man will not be executed." And that is Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, as the San Francisco DA, defended someone who murdered a police officer and prevented that man from getting the justice that he deserved. Donald Trump is very pro-police, and I hope to God that he uses this story against her, and I hope he just grinds that bitch with this story. I really do. I really do. And I'm imagining him saying something like, "Oh, yes, you're very tough on crime. Yes, I'm the criminal, but you defended someone who murdered a police officer." And you have these ridiculous articles that are coming out on this whole political fiasco, this political quagmire. For example, I saw an article on the New York Times saying, "Oh yes, Donald Trump is going to go third gear against Kamala Harris. He's really going to go down a very, very low route against Kamala Harris or whatever. He's gonna do a bunch of low blows on Kamala Harris. He's gonna be very misogynistic." And this article said something like, "Oh, Kamala, Donald Trump, he's very misogynistic and he has said very, very misogynistic things against women." And the reality is that no one gives a shit. No one really gives a shit about this stuff, right? Donald Trump hates women. How does he hate women? He bangs women. He's a freaking billionaire. Women practically open up their legs to this guy. I mean, he's a billionaire. But he hates women. And here's the thing. Donald Trump, when he ran against Biden, he only lost by 40,000 votes. Now, in a major national election, that's basically losing by a hair. He lost by a little sliver. That was it. Just a little tiny slice of voters. That's it. That's nothing. He lost by a hair, which means that all this talk about how he hates women, it just doesn't make a difference. It's a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, yeah, even CNN knows it's going to be very difficult for Kamala. And that's it. It's not going to be easy for this woman. It's going to be very, very difficult. And that's why I say Donald Trump is going to be the likely winner in this election. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.